Each and every one of us has an unlimited inner wellspring of spiritual power. You have the ability to transform, create, and heal anything upon which you set your heart and mind. Join me, Sarah Hall, as we learn how to uplift all aspects of your life through spiritual empowerment. Enjoy weekly guided meditations, spiritual discussions on a multitude of topics, and a chance to call in to receive channeled messages from the angels on your spiritual journey. I'm Sarah Hall, and this is Through the Eyes of the Angels. Hello. Hi, everybody. It is so great to be connecting with all of you here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I think we are going to have a really fun show because today we're going to be talking about the elementals. The elementals are the spirits of nature who inhabit and watch over each and every aspect of nature, including plants, forests, mountains, bodies of water, and even the animals. Elementals, as spiritual beings attached to each of these living aspects of nature, act kind of like guardian angels for the trees, the plants, the insects, and the animals, and so forth. So they're really wonderful to get to work with if you care about nature, if you feel that you have maybe a life purpose that's connected with connecting with nature. Something that I have always found very interesting and fascinating about this particular topic is that in every part of the world, we have historically been aware of elementals to some degree or another. So most cultures will have at least some kind of story or lore or spiritual veneration and so forth for the spirits of nature. For example, I think that most of us have a familiarity with the Western European version of the elementals since their stories have made such an impact on modern Western popular culture. So everybody's probably heard of Tinkerbell or seen a few Disney movies or has probably seen The Lord of the Rings and that sort of thing. And in European lore, there is truly an extensive history of belief in elementals and knowledge of the different kinds of elementals there are, including fairies, elves, leprechauns, gnomes, brownies, sprites, sylphs, mermaids, and so on and so forth. There's just so many different kinds. Elementals also appear widely in Grecian lore, including stories of nymphs, and also appearing as some of the Greek gods or goddesses. Even in India, there are elementals that are called by the name Dakini and Divas. In Japan, the Shinto spirituality is filled with deep and rich mythology and spiritual reverence towards the elemental spirits. Or in Polynesia, there is the belief in what they call the Menehune, which are small human-looking spirits found in nature. So you see all the similarities in these different places over time. So many of these stories across history and cultures share those similarities and seem to reflect upon at least the idea that we as human beings can and do connect with these spirits, and oftentimes with good things coming from that connection. Elementals really are benevolent beings. They are love-based, but like all earth dwellers, like you and I, they have egos. So they're different to connect with than the angels or the ascended masters, who are egoless and abide in a state of 100% pure love and pure God realization, fully immersed in their oneness with Source. Elementals, therefore, don't automatically love everyone unconditionally as the angels do. Elementals are very loving, playful, and kind by nature, but they tend to favor people who treat the environment and the animals with kindness and with respect. Now, you probably are aware, but elementals also have a bit of a reputation for being mischievous. And this is true. Sometimes they may play tricks on those who mistreat nature or simply choose to steer clear of those with negative intentions, as elementals can kind of sometimes be shy, very sensitive to energies and that sort of thing. But for the most part, they are kind. They love being helpful to us when we do call upon them, and they love to teach human beings their wisdom. especially if it means that the person will then become closer to nature as a result, or spread a message out into the world where they're helping other people to learn about nature and respecting it. Elementals have had a very, very long history, actually, of teaching human beings how to better live in communion with the earth. So back in ancient shamanic civilizations, and even extending into slightly more modern eras and cultures that have earth-based religions and that sort of thing, elementals were known for teaching specially selected human beings about plants and animals and predicting the cycles of nature. And it's actually really interesting because in my work, I've done a lot of past life regressions, and oftentimes I'll be doing past life regressions on clients who are light workers. I just seem to attract lots of you light workers. And I've noticed that in some of these regressions that people will have past life memories of working with spirits of nature, where they were learning how to do things to help and to heal in their village. So they were the shaman or the priestess and so forth that were especially selected to connect with the elemental beings. The elementals help to guide these individuals towards plants, oftentimes that could be used medicinally at the physical, mental, and spiritual levels. And they helped us to learn about staying in balance with Mother Nature as we cultivated crops, teaching us about seasonal patterns, weather, and relationships between different balancing forces in nature so that we were always able to do well in this. Elementals have long kind of considered us human beings to be like their sisters and brothers, since we do share so many similarities to them in our consciousness. Elementals are just as real and alive as you and I are, and they absolutely inhabit this very same earth that we inhabit. So you might be wondering, why then don't we all see them or experience them, communicate with them? Well, the reason for this first is that the elementals inhabit a plane of vibrational resonance that is just a bit higher than ours. You could almost say that they inhabit a slightly different dimension of the earth, the same earth that we live on, but one that is so close to you as it is to the air that you are breathing every single day. So because the elementals are so close to us, and in truth, probably nearby you right this very minute, if you're maybe in this moment nearby a house plant or see any trees outside your window, they're actually, because they're so close, a whole lot easier to get in touch with than you might imagine. You see, elementals are mostly very wise, very conscious, and aware. In fact, they are often more aware of us than we are of them. They are our elders, after all, as they have inhabited this planet much longer than we human beings have. Since they are so conscious, they are easily able to sense us when we reach out to them. So if you want to get in touch with the elementals, mentally reach out to them next time that you're in nature and just say hello. From my experience, they actually really love to be acknowledged, so it can be a really fun thing to kind of play with. There are so many benefits, too, to working with the elementals. Since, as I said, they are very wise and spiritually aware beings, they are great at teaching us on our personal spiritual paths. They are great at teaching us how to ground or our spiritual energy, or in other words, to help us to be fully aware, present, and immersed in the present moment. To the extent that we can make the most of implementing our spiritual consciousness in the earthly material realm, which is actually necessary as a component to manifestation. I know so many of us on a spiritual path are interested in the idea of manifestation, and the elementals are great at helping us with that because they can help us about the earthly realm, which is the realm through which our spiritual consciousness and energy must pass in order to create and manifest things. They are wise teachers in manifestations as well because they can co-create and help us to shape our reality and our will through our intention, because truly this is our spiritual birthright. The elementals share that spiritual birthright to be able to co-create and shape reality with us. And again, since the elementals are our elders, they are is a little bit higher in their learning or their mastering of this than we are. They can really teach us quite a bit on this. You can call the elementals for many different other things as well. You can ask them to help you with your gardening, with beautifying the outdoors near your home by maybe attracting birds or animals, butterflies or bees that you'd like to see in your yard. They can even help in giving you guidance for how to safely and respectfully, of course, remove or relocate insects from your home, which is a nice thing to get some help with. You can also call in elementals to watch over your pets. So any of you that have pets know that automatically there are elementals in your home already because there are elementals watching over your pets. All animals have a sort of a guardian fairy, a guardian elemental to watch over them and guide them. You can ask these elementals to help to kind of increase your ability to communicate and understand your pets, or even to heal them if your pets ever need healing. You can call in elementals when you are spending time also out in wild parts of nature. I know that elementals really love and prefer more wild, sprawling areas of nature, perhaps as opposed to the tightly manicured gardens or parks and things like that. And when you're in those kinds of spaces, the wild spaces, they are great at leading you towards little treasures, such as wild edible foods, or towards beautiful shells or stones on the beach. Just don't be surprised if they ask you maybe to pick up some trash while you're there. That's something that they really like to do. And actually, I have a story about that. Once when I was on a beach in the Bahamas, I wanted to connect with the fairies, so I meditated while I was on the beach, which I highly recommend you try, and called on the fairies just simply to say hello, just to see what would happen. After a little while, I opened my eyes and relaxed my gaze, and then I was able to see these teeny tiny little pinpricks of dancing light just moving all around me. They almost looked like little impressions in the air. I felt this big, bright, warm, bell-like voice just saying hello, hello, hello to me very excitedly. And it invited me to go swimming. I just kind of felt this little spirit around me while I was hanging out at the beach. So at one point I was swimming and I dove underwater, and the elemental seemed to be trying to get my attention to go towards this shiny thing under the water. And I was like, oh wow, this is so exciting. From far away, the shiny thing just sort of looked like it maybe was a weird rock or just a strange reflection from the sun. But I was curious, so I dove down to the bottom of the water. I reached out and I grabbed it. Turns out that this was a big old bag of chips that was stuck under a rock with one of those really reflective, kind of packagings on it. So once I had it in hand, I immediately felt the fairy thanking me excitedly over and over again, and she started to show me pictures in my mind of throwing away the trash responsibly. So I sort of just laughed to myself later because in my mind, I thought that maybe the fairy was giving me some kind of a treasure underwater and I was being led to something really special and magical, but typical of an elemental, she was just trying to get me to help clean up her home. So she helped me with that. But they'll also help you with finding little treasures too. Actually, I have another sort of more recent encounter or story that I had with elementals when I was out in the woods near my home. So I have long really, really loved the hobby of collecting wild food out in nature. I love to forage, which is something that I highly recommend doing, but make sure that you get the right training in doing it so that you never collect anything that you might not be able to eat. You don't want to get anything that's poison. But one of the great things to collect near where I live are morel mushrooms. And the morel mushrooms are absolutely delicious. It's like a gourmet delicacy of mushrooms, and you can find them growing in the woods at certain times of the year, particularly the spring, which is right now. And I find that these morel mushrooms, when you go outside in the woods, it's almost like Where's Waldo trying to find them. You could be looking all around, and maybe there's a mushroom right in front of you, but you just don't see it because it seems to blend in with all of the other things on the forest floor, like the leaves and the sticks and all of that kind of thing. When, however, I call on the elementals, just mentally throw out my radar for a second and say, help me find some if you want me to. I would love to find some mushrooms. That oftentimes they will lead me to them, but that they'll do so if you sing them a little song or if you do something just to show, yes, I'm connected with you, I love you, or friends. They love to be very playful. So maybe sing them a little song next time you're out in the woods and then see what happens, see what you find. So another great elemental area to sort of work on in your spiritual work with them is to actually help them, ask them help for your health. Elementals have long been really, really great at teaching and training human beings, as we said before, on what natural remedies can help us to heal and balance our bodies. So if you want to find a natural, holistic cure for any physical ailments, or even help in finding natural options to maybe supplement your beauty routine, the elementals will help to lead you to exactly what you need. Elementals are also great to call upon to protect and uplift the energy of your home. So historically, the elementals known for doing this are called the brownies. Brownies help with housework and can protect your home from imbalances such as mold, leaks, insects, and so forth. Or if these things do occur, they can guide you towards the best natural solutions for overcoming them. But overall, they're great protectors. So if you already connect with one in your home, you're probably pretty well protected. I had an experience with an elemental sort of like this, actually this past autumn, in fact. And it was actually totally unexpected because I didn't call on their help or ask for anything. It was just sort of a gift that came out of the blue. I was in the middle of last autumn attempting to move. I wanted to move to a new home. And I was in the midst of doing a lot of looking, a lot of internet searching, that sort of thing. And one day I was outside folding laundry. Sometimes I like to dry laundry outside so that it smells like the sun and the grass and the air. And in the middle of doing this, I looked down and I saw an insect on the shirt that I was about to fold. Now, this was not an ordinary insect like one I had ever really seen before. It was absolutely enormous. It was like the size of my hand, and it was bright green. And it kind of resembled a praying mantis. Maybe it was even a kind of a praying mantis, but it had big, beautiful, huge eyes and huge, long, graceful-looking wings. So I was just staring at this beautiful creature in awe for a moment, having a little bit of fun, when suddenly I started to see that little pinprick of light, that pattern of light just flickering around this little creature. Then, clear as day, I heard a singing chorus of little voices in my spiritual mind's ear, and they were saying that they would help me find the perfect house. The adorable thing about this moment was that these beings didn't just talk, they only sang. So it was very entertaining. And I could feel the spiritual energy just zinging around this moment. You can really feel a shift in the pressure of the air around you. Sometimes you can feel a little tingle on your skin. It feels very uplifting. So once I received the message, the big green insect simply spread out its wings, got up and flew off so slowly and gracefully, just hovering through the air, and then it was gone. So later on, I think it was just actually a day later after that event occurred that I happened to find the perfect house, which is surrounded by big old trees, walking distance from a beautiful forest filled with wild deer, the perfect place for me to explore and meditate. So I thanked those little spirits for their help because they really gave me the perfect new home to live in. So if you need help with the moving process, do call on the elementals. I know from experience that they can help. So another one of my favorite ways to work with the elementals is to call them in if you are having a party or doing any kind of artistic performance. The elementals are legendary for their love of having a good time. And if you call on them into your party or into your gathering, they can do a really, really great job of uplifting the energy, uplifting the spirits of the people that are there, helping everybody to be in a great, happy, celebratory mood. If you want to get shy people to start dancing or laughing, just mentally call it on the elementals and just as an experiment, just sort of see what happens from there. They have an energy that is incredibly lighthearted, sweet, fun, childlike. It can be infectious, sort of like infectious laughter that makes you just want to join in and have fun. So, how do we begin to work with the elementals, you might be wondering? Well, my first suggestion is to begin spending more time out in nature. As you spend more time in nature, your energy will naturally begin to sync with the flow of the earth, bringing you just a bit closer to the vibration of the elementals. You might notice that your senses and instincts begin to sharpen, that you become more aware of sights, smells, and all the little sounds around you. Even better still is to meditate out in nature, which opens your inner gates, your inner energy centers, even more fully so that you can connect with the flow of the earth's spiritual energy. From there, simply reach out, introduce yourself, and say hello. Send the elementals a little message even if you'd like to, and then just get quiet and notice any replies or little signs that you might receive. One thing that you can do is to respectfully ask that the elementals show themselves to you. Now, they may ask for something in return, usually again for you to pick up trash or, as we were saying before, maybe sing a little song. This helps them to warm up to your energy a little bit more. Then just try this. Spend some time gazing at the trees. You may notice that suddenly the trees have the most detailed, realistic looking faces. You'll see the bark looking like old gentlemen's faces, or maybe see faces in the leaves of bushes, or see shapes of eyes begin to peep out from little clusters of flowers. This is the elemental's way of letting you see them, giving you a little bit of a glimpse and letting you know that they're there. They also send signs in the form of animals or insects. So if you ask the elementals to see them and then you find that there's a butterfly or a dragon that lands on or nearby you, that's often their way of saying hello. One of perhaps the most interesting ways to perceive the elementals is to see them as forms of light out in nature. So you can do this by just relaxing again or meditating out in nature and then gazing at the plants or the trees with your eyes relaxed. This part is important. Just relax your eyes, allowing them to go slightly out of focus. And then just simply observe for a moment. Many people will naturally begin to see little flecks of light dancing before their eyes, or even sometimes the outlines of tiny little people. And that's a very, very special thing to be able to see. One of my own personal, most astounding experiences with this, and actually this is a story that I've told very, very, very few people, so all of you listening get to hear this and join my, my inner circle. This was on a night when I was walking through the forest with a friend of mine, and we came to the clearing where there was a big, beautiful grassy hill in a field just stretching out kind of right in front of us. All of a sudden, we saw a bright white horse-like creature galloping across the field. As this figure kind of came a little bit more closely into view, we were absolutely in awe when we noticed that it wasn't making a single noise as it ran, and that its feet actually weren't touching the ground. They were just sort of hovering above it. The horse was glowing with a bright white light and also seemed to be moving faster than physically possible. It almost looked as if its form was kind of shimmering, again, as if it belonged to a vibration that was just a little bit faster or lighter than ours is. Eventually, the figure grew smaller and smaller until it literally just vanished. So to this day, I have literally no logical explanation for that event. But of course, in my heart of hearts, I believe that this was a sighting of a unicorn. I don't know. You guys tell me. What do you think? I know that unicorns actually happen to be very close to the elementals and also exist in spirit form and that same higher resonating realm as the elementals do. So sometimes the elementals, they might surprise you. They might show you little things like this when you don't even expect it. So ways that you can foster or strengthen a relationship with the elementals once you've begun connecting with them are to maybe place a little fairy house or sometimes a little altar in your garden, because the fairies, they think that these are very fun, very entertaining, very silly sorts of things. They love them. Or to even leave them little offerings, such as historically people would sometimes leave them a tiny dish of honey or bread, or you can also leave them some crystals or beautiful trinkets to see and play with outside. Or just to spend some quality time outdoors, since they really do love to be there when you're playing and having fun outside. Fairies and elementals love to amplify the energy of having fun. They are here to amplify the energy of joy. So they love it when they see, feel, and experience human beings that are doing the same thing, and they'll oftentimes join in the fun. Sometimes it can take a while before you'll start perceiving or communicating with the elementals or receiving much back from them. But once they decide that you're a good person to connect with, they'll start showing up a little bit more and then a little bit more. So for example, at a time when I was really opening my own intuitive gifts, I was, I think maybe 19 years old, and I was studying abroad in Italy. There was a week where every single night in my sleep, I would hear, smell, and see, and even sometimes feel ocean waves that were crashing all around me. Very vivid dreams. And in these dreams, I would hear my own voice saying the words, "I want to go to the sea, I need to go to the sea," and just a kind of longing for it. Sometimes these dreams were actually so strong that they would wake me up in the middle of the night and I could still smell the ocean in my room, even though I was in Florence, which is far away from the coast. So the following week, I went on a trip to the seaside and I hiked through the beautiful Cinque Terre, a cluster of 5 small villages hugging the coast with a beautiful nature trail that connects them. If you're ever in the area, I strongly recommend that. And so at one point along the trail, I decided to go swimming on this very beautiful, secluded little beach. And as soon as I entered the water, I felt spiritual presences all around me. The vibration was so very uplifting and relaxing and healing. I was guided in that moment to lie down and float on my back in the gentle waves and just close my eyes and feel the sun. During this time, each and every one of my chakras were cleared very deeply. I could feel each part of me being energetically worked on. I felt strong, clear, and incredibly kind of intuitively opened after that experience, just sharpened in all my senses. When I left the water, I thanked the ocean spirits for their gift and have always felt an incredible affinity with mer people. And of all the elementals I have connected with, by the way, the mer people seem to be the most deep, philosophical, and serious in the intention to teach us about spirituality. Oftentimes also in my work, I see elementals working with my clients as direct, constant spirit guides. Elementals love to guide people who have life purposes that are centered around environmental protection or animals, or who are incarnated elementals themselves. Incarnated elementals, these are human beings who have had past lives as elementals. So that's right, your spirit has likely not only expressed itself as a human being. There are so many spiritual realms for us to travel, explore, and grow within. And one of the purposes of an elemental spirit choosing to have human lifetimes is that they can have a very direct physical effect on the human world, just to steer it towards more light, more laughter, more healing, or more respect for the animals, the environment. Incarnated elementals, they oftentimes look like we would think of pixies, fairies, or elves to look like. They oftentimes have a wild sense of humor. They love to party. They're very creative and artistic, and they care deeply about nature and animals. Incarnated elementals oftentimes choose careers in the arts and entertainment or in environmentalism, or in animal protection, rescue, or veterinary care, or in naturopathic and holistic healing. And more often than not, when I meet an incarnated elemental, I discover that she or he has always loved stories about fairies, mermaids, and so forth, and can't spend too much time away from being in nature. So if you meet this description in any way, it's highly likely that you are an incarnated elemental. And you can do past life work to learn a little bit more about this. Or, of course, to call on the elementals. You can call on them to ask them to teach you directly a little bit more about your spiritual gifts and your spiritual origin. So speaking of connecting with the elementals, let's go ahead and do some guided meditation to connect us with the fairy world. So if you are in a comfortable place to do so, you can go ahead now and just begin by relaxing, closing your eyes, and beginning by taking in a few long, deep, healing breaths. As you are relaxing, immediately envision that there is a beautiful stream of emerald green and amethyst purple colored light spiraling and floating all around you. Breathe this light in. Allow the light to flow through the top of your head, flowing through the crown chakra, moving down into the third eye, and awakening and activating your spiritual senses. Continuing to breathe very deeply. Allow this light to flow down the spine, seeing it move through the throat chakra, allowing it to move into the heart, relaxing and opening the muscles and the shoulders. Feeling the light flowing all the way down the spine, gently energizing every energy center along the way. As this light begins to shift you, see and feel a big, beautiful tree of life forming just behind you, as if you are sitting or lying down at the base of this big, beautiful tree of life. Just take a moment to take this beautiful sight in and to feel the immensely powerful energy of this tree. And with your next deep breath, feel yourself gently floating in to the middle of the tree. Feel what it's like to just float in this beautiful, protected space. Feel the branches reaching above you, pulling in divine light from the higher dimensions. Feel the roots below you, funneling your energy deep down into Mother Earth's energy. Allow that beautiful light to grow and permeate each one of your senses. And then notice that directly in front of you, there is a beautiful doorway in the tree. Walk through this doorway now. Good. You have now entered into the realm of the fairies. Take a moment to explore the beautiful forest that stretches out all around you, noticing that it is inhabited with light beings. Fairies and spiritual beings gazing out from each form of life. Notice that in front of you, there is a beautiful glowing ring on the ground. Walk into the center of this glowing fairy ring. Take a moment simply to breathe, adjusting to the new energy in this little space. And feel the fairies now standing all around you. Notice that you have now reached the same size as these little beings. The fairies are showing us that they are channeling beautiful healing light and wisdom from the palms of their hands, from their third eyes, straight into your heart. Breathe this beautiful light and presence in. Allow yourself to integrate deeply with the spirit of Mother Earth through these healing fairy energies. And then simply take a moment to invite the fairies and the elementals to give you any message that perhaps you need to receive today. Simply breathe, relax, and receive. The fairies are showing us that they are now channeling light from the palms of their hands right into your heart, so that your light and spiritual energy may flow downwards. Feel your spiritual energy flowing through and inhabiting the solar plexus behind the belly button, going down into the sacral chakra in the hip and pelvic region, going all the way down into the root chakra at the base of your spine. Breathe in deep and strong right here at the root chakra. And with your exhale, feel your light flowing downwards from the root chakra, noticing these fairies and elemental spirits gently pulling and weaving your energy downwards to create a beautiful, strong root system deep within Mother Earth. Notice that as they do this, the forest around you increasingly looks like the physical world forest. Like that in the dimension that we always live in. Seeing and feeling the sunlight, smelling the trees and the soil. And noticing still you've got this deep root connection flowing into the earth. See and feel the presence of the beautiful tree of life. And notice that once again, you are sitting at the base of the tree. As a parting gift, the fairies are placing their hands just over your third eye and channeling more spiritual awareness, higher resonance to help you to attune yourself to being able to perceive them just a little bit more clearly next time you're in nature. Breathe this gift in. And then with your next exhale, you can gently open your eyes and shift right back into the moment, into the room, into the physical world. Beautiful. That was so much fun. If you'd like to do another guided meditation of mine to connect with the fairies, you can check out my YouTube meditation called Grounding with the Fairies. And you can search for it just by typing in my name and guided meditation and grounding with the fairies, and it should be the first thing that will come up on YouTube. The fairies are actually really, really wonderful with teaching us how to ground, how to get grounded. This is one of the very, very, very valuable things that they teach. And this meditation on YouTube is specifically designed to really, really deeply get you grounded. So I hope you enjoy learning from that one. And now it is time for us to accept our callers. So today we're going to be working with 3 elemental oracle card decks, including the magical messages from the fairies, the healing with the fairies deck, and the magical mermaids and dolphins deck. And it looks like we already have a caller on the air, so let's go ahead and connect with them. Hi, caller. You are on the air with us. If you could just introduce yourself and tell us where you're calling from today.
Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm calling from Florida.
Hi, Julia. Thanks for calling in today. It's great to hear from you.
Thank you. I just found your YouTube site, and actually just yesterday, and come to find out you were on live today. So I thought, oh, how awesome. And when I called in, it was 1:11.
Wow.
This is amazing.
You were meant to be here. That is awesome. I love it. So do you have any questions or thoughts for us today, or would you like a reading?
I would love a reading. It's so funny that you were talking about, wanting to move, and you had the dream about the water, and I'm wanting to move, and I want to move closer to the water. I live in Central Florida, and I'm feeling like I'd like to be closer to the water, maybe on the western Gulf of Mexico side.
Yes.
So I was hoping for some guidance around that.
Awesome. Yes, yes, yes. So the first feeling that I'm getting, even before I turn over the cards, is that this is something that's going to happen. It just kind of feels loud and clear. I've got this gut instinct going in where there's a conviction there saying, you belong there. Your spirit guides actually are all kind of together sort of expressing that you have naturally very open, sensitive spiritual energy, and that you benefit very, very, very much from being a little bit closer to the water. It's very cleansing and clearing for you at all levels of being and brings more peace of mind. So it's supportive of your spiritual purpose here. So for this, I decided to pull some cards, and I pulled a couple of cards. I pulled 2 cards from each of the fairies deck. And since we're asking about moving closer to the water, I also decided to pull some cards from the mermaids deck, 2 cards from the mermaids deck. So the very first card that I turned over, I think this is a card that actually just reflects what they just told us. And this is amazing. I love when that happens. It's the Happily Ever After card from the Healing with the Fairies deck.
Oh.
So I think that's a good sign. That tells us that, yes, you are meant to do this. You are headed towards this. This is a destiny of yours, and you are really meant to go. And it's actually really interesting. I have to share that in the image that I'm looking at this card, I wish I could show it to you right now. There's an image of a little gnome, and he's got a travel bag on his back, and he's got a little staff like he's on a journey. And then he's looking out, and there is a body of water that he's headed towards. So this is you. I mean, I think this is just supposed to be, your sign. This is what you're supposed to be doing. The second card that I pulled, this one is from the magical messages from the fairies deck, and this is the marriage card. So this is a card that signifies that an important relationship in your life is a big part of this move. So is this something that you are working on with a partner at this time?
I'm working towards it. I just, with the moon ceremony yesterday, I did my letter of release, and I went out in the moon, and I prayed, and I had written all my stuff out to get it, purge it all. And then I burned it in the moonlight and washed it away with water. So
Oh
I'm
my goodness.
preparing the way for a relationship. So yes. Oh,
That's
cool.
amazing. It's so amazing. Okay,
So
so the
cool.
marriage card came up. I kind of had a feeling it was like either there's a relationship that's going with her there or she's finding a relationship there. And just from your description, it honestly feels like you're part of the reason why you're being drawn closer to this location is because your soulmate already lives near the water. This is someone who's connected to it. I do see someone who likes to be outdoors a lot and on the water. I see someone near boats. So definitely keep your eyes open, keep your senses open, and get ready because that's a big part of what's coming in the next chapter is that there'll be a relationship that's on the way. So this is interesting. Now I've
Wonderful.
got the last two cards. These are from the Mermaids deck, and the first card from the Mermaids deck is the Break Free card. The Break Free card. So this is the card that pretty much tells you it is time to try something brand new. You are ready to move away from where you live right now and to go forward. What this card is saying is essentially just to dive in and commit to the choice. Really commit to the choice. So it's a good time to start taking some human action steps, such as going out and doing a little bit of searching and exploring to figure out how to sort of put this into action, make it work. And it's so interesting because the second card from the mermaids has the exact same theme to it. The mermaids are being very practical with you today with their guidance, very straightforward. The second card is the consult an expert card. So that makes perfect sense. The first one, they're saying break free, take action, get committed, it's time. Second card is consult an expert. So get somebody involved who can help you with your search. This would be a great time to maybe schedule a day where you can go out with somebody who might be in real estate or something like that, or just get any kind of guidance or advice on taking the next little practical step. So, yes, absolutely. Best of luck in this. This is something that you are meant to do. Any thoughts about any of that so far?
That's absolutely wonderful. I don't know if you get a sense of timing around it because it's so funny with the break free. I've had a little bit of fear about, can I do this financially? Because I went through a divorce. I was married for over 30 years and I went through a divorce and that's behind me. But
Yes.
because, when you're with someone for so long, you become dependent on them. So I'm just having a little bit of apprehension about, finding work and being able to be able to do it on my own, put on my big girl panties
Yes,
and
yes.
do it on my own. So,
No wonder they were talking all about action steps. So it's like you've got the intention set, the maybe prayer and manifestation aspect of it moving in motion. The next step is taking those human action steps and beginning to look for the work and for the, again, places where you could potentially live, all of that kind of stuff. And it actually does feel as if you will be able to find this fairly easily. Put each of your priorities sort of in order and begin taking action steps right away. I pulled one single supplemental card for this just to ask them, what we should be doing in this area. And I've got the walk away card, the walk away. So that's interesting. We had break free from one deck, and this is actually from the Fairies deck now. We have walk away. So it's saying essentially that it is safe to leave the old situations of the past, to leave the old location of the past, and to enjoy the new doors that really, really will be opening as a result of you stepping into this new chapter. So it looks like you'll be able to find the new job or whatever it might be, fairly easily. Just begin to cast your nets out and look. Honestly, I'm getting a good feeling about this searching process kind of going on over and throughout the months of the summertime, and beginning to start to find some concrete, sort of choices that you can ground into at the very least, if not sooner, by the end of the summer or the early fall. So again, just start the groundwork, put all your little ducks in a row, and just see what kind of nibbles you start to get. Because again, this looks like it's sort of right around the corner, and you're being guided. You're being very spiritually guided. Keep your angels and your elemental guides, sort of on the front lines, because they will help you and go before you into each opportunity every single step of the way.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that. That gives me hope that, I'm on the right path. It's not just a pipe dream or, I'm just wanting it in my head or anything like that. So thank you for that confirmation that I am on the right path. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Good, good. You are so welcome, dear Julia. It's so wonderful to connect with you, and I'm just so glad that you're here. I think that you are really meant to be here today. So thank you
Yes,
for calling in,
definitely.
and I'll be sending you lots of love as you work on your move.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. Thanks for
You
taking my
too.
call. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye bye.
All right, that was so lovely. So we have a question from somebody in the chat room. This is from Maria. She says, for a long time, I've been considering moving from the big city I live in. What state do the angels suggest I move to? Thank you so much. Wow, Maria. Okay, right away, as I was kind of connecting with your energy and just connecting with the feelings, I started to see mountains. And I felt like I was in an area of the world where it was like we might be in either Colorado or Montana, somewhere around there. And I was seeing just beautiful, beautiful stretching landscapes. I'm seeing fresh rivers and springs. And again, mountains is a strong characteristic feeling. I get the strongest resonance for you of the two states mentioned that I was getting impressions about from Colorado. So I would say start looking there and just always tune in as well with your intuition. So this seems to be a theme today. We've got several people that are calling in, talking about moving and things like that. Again, another thing the fairies are great with helping with. So Maria, for you, call on these guides to help you to find the best location and then tune in spiritually, energetically, mentally, or emotionally into the location that you're considering moving into. Envision yourself in Colorado and just sort of do a rehearsal in your mind of what it would be like to be, near a place like this. And then from there, envision all the other details around it and notice what your body and your emotions do in reaction. When your body just sort of relaxes, your emotions start to light up and get excited and energized, this is a sign that yes, this is something that you are meant to do. Or if your stomach tightens or there's doubts that naturally come to mind, that can be a sign that says, go back to the drawing board just for a moment. Maybe think of another option or think of a different way to maybe do this. And that will help you with guiding your way. What I can definitely say for you, dear Maria, is that it does feel as if it's important to move away from the big city that you're in right now. It feels as if you're ready for a new start. And I'm kind of getting the feeling of sort of like you've outgrown the old. You're ready for something that's brand new. Also for you, I'm feeling a really great relationship material coming as you move to a new location. And I pulled one single card for you from the magical messages from the fairies. And it's the Your Desire is Within Reach card. Your desire is within reach. So have faith. This is something that's for you as well, something that seems like it's coming right around the corner. Okay, so I'll do a general reading as well for all of us who are listening. And know too that when someone calls in, that usually if you're hearing this message, there is going to be at least some aspect of the message that comes through for the caller that is for you as well. That's just the way that divine guidance works. The fairies, the angels, and so forth, they guide the right people at the right time to ask the questions and receive the guidance needed so that all of us can receive a little boost. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one card from each of the decks that we are working with for our general reading for today. And let's see what we have. All right, so the first card I'm turning over is from the Healing with the Fairies deck. This is the Positive Expectations card. Positive expectations. So this is a card that is telling us right away, I'm hearing the message that there's a lot of you listening who are looking to manifest something new in your life. Particularly, I'm hearing with jobs and with money, finances and career growth. The angels are saying, and fairies as well, of course, that it's incredibly important for you to begin by having positive expectations. When you have a positive expectation for, something that you're working on doing, it's sort of like if you're riding a bike or jogging and you are gazing out in front of you at a point And if you're gazing out at that one point, your body will naturally start to turn towards it. Next time you're outside walking, jogging, biking, something like that, try fixating your eye on a point to you that's maybe a little bit to the left. And after a while, just try to see if you can not start moving a little bit towards the left. We go in the direction of what we envision. We manifest exactly what we create. If you can envision it, then you can absolutely do it. So set your intentions. Also know too, we just had a powerful full moon, you guys. It was a beautiful, powerful full moon last night in Scorpio, and we're still in the energy of that full moon. So it's a really great time to set some manifestation intentions. Do it by doing a little bit of journaling, or sometimes prayer or meditative work, and that sort of thing can also be helpful for setting intentions. That will be great. Our second card that we are looking at is from the Healing with the Fairies deck, and this is the Friendship card. Friendship. So this is a card that is telling us that your friends will help you with what it is you are trying to manifest. If you are looking for where you should be going next, then know that the answer is towards people. Start networking, start talking about your ideas with those who are around you, and watch the doors that begin to open as a result. That is one of the best and most common, actually, ways of divine guidance reaching you, or an intervention reaching you, is through other people, through people that you know. Our final card is the practice card. Practice. So this is amazing. This is truly a reading that's all about manifestation. This is a card that says you need to start to work on the content and the physical human action steps of that which you are hoping to do and manifest. Polish your skills, polish your talents, start writing that book, start doing something new, and that is going to create, the next step of this sort of unfolding. You need to do that. Okay, it looks like we have a caller on the line, so we are going to squeeze that one in. All right. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Thank you so much for calling in. What is your name and where are you calling from today?
Hey, my name is Charles, and I'm calling from Toronto, Canada.
Hi, Charles. Thanks for calling in. It's great to talk with you.
Yeah, same.
Awesome. So what questions or reading requests do you have for today?
I don't know. Honestly, I've never done something like this before, so I was like, oh, this is so cool. Let me try it out and see, because I came across your YouTube, the full moon reading, actually this morning. I think it was at like 11:45, and I was like, oh, no way. She's going to be on like such a short time. Let me listen. So I started listening, and I just loved your meditation. It was so moving, just everything that you were describing perfectly. So, I thought, hey, might as well just give a call and see, like a reading from maybe the fairy deck or something like that.
Yay! Yes, yeah. That sounds awesome. Gosh, you're the second person today who I think was just totally meant to be here. It's like a synchronicity, divine timing kind of thing.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to go ahead and pull. I'm feeling guided for you to use the Healing with the Fairies deck. So I'm turning over our 3 cards for this today. And let's see what we have. Beautiful. So the first card that we have is the Environmental Awareness card. Environmental Awareness. So this is a card that's actually coming through with a really strong message for you. This is a message that says that you, Charles, are an empath. You are an empath. You have very, very strong spiritual sensitivity and strong intuition. You're really, really able to read and sense the energies and emotions of other people very, very well. And oftentimes, this can affect how you are feeling through the day. So be very, very aware of the environment around you, particularly where it's made up of the people that you spend your time with, because you might notice, oh my gosh, I'm feeling a little bit heavier, I'm feeling a little bit giddy, or whatever it might be. Notice if you might be picking up on the energy of others, because you've got such a strong connection to people, to spiritual frequencies, mental and emotional energy around you. And that's a gift. That's definitely a gift. It can be a little bit of a challenge every once in a while, but it's truly a gift. Your second card, I love this. This is the Magic of Nature card. This is a card that tells you essentially that your way of being able to clear yourself as an empath is to go out and spend time in nature. Nature is an incredible place to clear yourself of holding on to any other people's energies, their burdens, sometimes if you're shouldering their stuff, or even to help clear away cords. Cords are sort of like etheric connections that can drain your energy or through which you might be carrying somebody else's energy again. So spending time in nature, that is your place to get centered, to get energetically cleared, and to connect with real power. Also, they're adding one other little thing for you. They're saying this, that you are something that's very special. You are a hybrid of both an indigo child and a crystal child. So every once in a while, I'll meet people that have both of that in their energy. And for those of you listening that might not really know what an indigo or a crystal child is, these indigo and crystal children are representations of just sort of the next little baby step forward in the evolution of human consciousness. So indigo children and crystal children, they oftentimes have very, very sensitive consciousness, very sensitive spiritual energy. They're able to pick up on energies and emotions and different things like this. They have the ability to develop psychic gifts very, very easily and that sort of thing. And for you, since you're a hybrid of indigo and crystal, your guides are telling us that you have also physical sensitivity. So for you, anything in your diet that's ever, kind of really has chemicals or preservatives or is mood altering, like our caffeines or our alcohols or high sugar kinds of things. These sorts of things are saying that you're extra sensitive to. So you're sort of like the high quality sports car where you can't put the regular gasoline in it. You have to put the high quality in it in order for it to run beautifully. And that's you. They're saying really, really, connect with nature. Nature is your balance, and eating in total natural light, they're saying, will be your grounding, centering salvation. You'll feel your energy and your mood really stable and uplifted, and your spiritual gifts starting to polish or come out as you take care of your body really, really well. Then your final card that I pulled from the Fairies deck for you is the Problem Resolved card. Problem resolved. So directly for this, I'm hearing your angels and your guides saying to pay attention to the signs around you. It feels as if you're going to be getting some synchronicities or some signs pretty soon that will help you to realize that your ship is coming in. That's what I'm hearing. So if you've been worried that you can't find an opportunity, or maybe there's any area of life that's been either stuck or stagnant or anything like that, we're seeing a change. Stuff is starting to resolve right now, and you're edging into the next chapter in your life. We're seeing you start to do a little bit more too. I'm seeing the energy of new locations, maybe even a new home in the near future around you. A little bit more going on with your work or something with career stuff starting to bud and to grow, new creative projects. And all of that just seems to work together to scaffold you into this very active, creative kind of energy. Any thoughts or questions about any of that so far?
Oh, wow. I'm just actually so speechless. Everything that you were saying, I was like, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. Yeah, that's actually really cool. I didn't even know that I was a hybrid of some sort, because I knew, from my mother's side, there was a bunch of indigo children. My brother was actually an indigo child. So yeah, that was really cool. I've been seeing spirits around me, and it's happened before too. So yeah, that's just, fascinating that you've shared that with me. Thank you so much.
Wow. Yeah. You are so welcome, my dear. Yes, you really do have a special, very, very open energy. And I'm hearing your guides just adding, go ahead and learn a little bit more about both the indigos and the crystals. You've got a lot of crystal energy in you, and it makes you very, very highly attuned to energies and very sensitive to musical frequencies. I'm hearing them say also, and to color and beauty and different things like that. So just embrace your gifts. You have a lot that you can just offer. You have a light that you can shine in this world, and I'm just grateful that you called in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yay. All right. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you tune in again next time. Gosh, I'm so glad you called in.
Definitely. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day. You
are welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, that was such a fun show. Just as I thought, whenever we bring the fairies, and it's always just Light and fun, lighthearted fun. So we're now coming to the end of our show. And I want to thank you so much for listening and tuning in today. Remember, of course, that I'll be live every third Thursday of the month. This month was kind of an odd month. We did the second Thursday for scheduling reasons, but next month we'll be back on the third Thursday of the month, most likely at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Project Bring Me to Life, bringing you spiritual discussions and angel messages. All of the shows, of course, are recorded and available to listen to as podcasts on iTunes, at Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com, and on the app for Android, Stitcher. That's Stitcher. I will also be posting the links for the podcast on my Facebook and Twitter pages in case you missed it. There'll also be a link for a YouTube video that will have a recording of this podcast. And you can like my Facebook page at facebook.com/SarahHall1111. Or you can follow me on Twitter by visiting twitter.com/Seraphim444. That's SERAPHIM444. Or Instagram at Seraphim444. And as always, if you'd like to contact me for a reading, spiritual guidance, or past life healing session, you can visit my website at www.seraphim.com. That's SERAPHIM.com. For more fantastic spiritual talk radio and music and podcasts, stay tuned to Project Bring Me to Life Network and visit projectbringmetolife.com. Bye, guys. I love you so much. See you later.